I don't know why we wouldn't make a move for another free agent offensive tackle.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. And that's a really good transition into our next topic. And that's one thing that I highlight. I know two people that I kind of off the jump, and I think that you might kind of be in agreement here, or at least looked at the same people, was, Russell Okung, who is once again a little bit older in his early 30s than another early 30-year-old, Rick Wagner, who formerly played on Green Bay. Two tackles that could really kind of help that depth issue. And at this point, it seems like what could really be the harm in bringing them in? We tried it with Jason Peters. If we're going to go out as bold to bring someone that's kind of as far off as he was from being in game shape, you got to at least take a stab at one of these two, you feel like.
Yeah. I mean, we did it with Richards. Wait, what's his damn name? Who did we just sign? I'm blanking.
Are you talking about on the offensive line or somewhere else?
Yeah, the offensive tackle. Why am I?
We have Jason Peters as our left tackle.
Peters. Yeah. Richards. Sorry, I was thinking of Richardson. Yeah, Peters. We just did it with Peters. He's 39. Okay, he's 39. Yeah, signing a 31, 32-year-old makes a lot of sense, right? Tackles obviously start to dip off at 30, like statistically across the board. Right, but to your end, what is the harm? What is the harm? Make a couple salary cuts. Find some room. Come on, Ryan Pace. You're good at this. Get us some more tackles, man. Guys are going down like flies. I don't see the harm in it. I think it's inevitable. I think that either a trade. We could even see. I mean, Ryan Pace is known for bold moves. We could see somebody that we are familiar with, that we know and maybe we even like, get traded for another tackle because it's a massive position of need. It's the most important position, I think, right now that needs to get filled. And just for a 1-year stint, right?
Yeah.
Like cornerback is also a massive concern, but that's kind of a longer term issue, and it's something that you can kind of get by with defensive deficiencies without the fear of injury, right? Like your offensive line is protection. It's trying to make sure that your number one most valuable asset, as you even just said, doesn't get murdered.
Yeah,
and
it's your wall.
Before we put it's your wall. And before we get Fields out there, I think we want to make sure that he doesn't get murdered. So more than cornerbacks, more than safety help, more edge rushers, 9 different edge rushers. No, we need tackles. We need offensive tackles. And I think it's almost inevitable at this point, especially with the recent injuries to our rookie and Peters, that we're going to see either a trade or some more free agent signings. I hope it's the latter. I hope we don't just start trading away future assets for this 1-year stupid window where we're clearly not the team that half of our fans think we are. I'd like to see us just sign a couple free agents and sort of fill that gap.
Yeah, and I think that's what the Bears are going to hope to do anyway, too. I think with that long-term vision in mind, I really don't think they're going to want to move too many assets, especially younger assets on cheaper contracts, to pick up a tackle that's hopefully not going to be playing any more years here as a Chicago Bear. So, yeah, I can agree with you on that. And I think the one other player I really looked at was in probably the other position of need, glaring position of need, was cornerback Darqueze Dennard, a former Cardinal. Not outstanding. I don't think there's anyone that's ever stood out to me as being a crazy good corner, but someone that could be thrown in there. Maybe if you're not, this whole Vildor at cornerback 2 doesn't quite work out, you can potentially throw him in the mix for that as well, or at the very least can provide you some good depth and work into a couple of different defensive packages that aren't your base package. Someone that they could certainly go out there and get, and I think that would at least improve the team and that cornerback depth that neither of us are feeling too confident about.
Yeah, and he's only 29 years old, right? So
yeah, not crazy old.
Yeah, right. And the potential for him to have a decent year and potentially even earn himself another contract is there. I've said before, obviously this is a little bit more swinging for the fences kind of a thing, but Maybe seeing where Richard Sherman is at. How is
I don't
he
know.
doing mentally? You know,
Yeah.
I don't know. He's. I mean, I know, like I said, it's a little bit of a high shot here, but I think that this is sort of the year for those experiments. I don't know if he personally is even ready, but you know, he's I think clearly the most talented free agent in this, you know, in the cornerback room that there is right now, and you know, barring some massive mental break, I'd also be super excited to see him get signed, but because you know he would be on a massive discount.
Yeah. Yeah, and it would be crazy to see him as a Bear too. Honestly, it would be really interesting to have him in there. It would be, you know, at the moment of the signing, it'd be very exciting. I'd have some concerns, some reservations, but at the same time, you know, it's Richard Sherman, so it's a name. And like you said, as far as raw talent goes and intelligence for the game, I mean, he's right up there with them. Does he still have the same step? Is he still as fast? Is he maybe getting a little too slow? I don't know. Maybe we'd have to see it play out on the field. I think there's certainly some validity to that as well. Was anyone else that was popping off to you? I really don't think this is the strongest free agent list, and you don't expect it to be at the beginning of the season. But yeah, I wasn't crazy about anyone.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, again, just looking at all the tackles, I see Mitchell Schwartz at the top of one list. I don't know where he's at injury wise.
Yeah,
I know he
exactly.
just had like back surgery.
That's the question
a year
mark,
ago or
yeah.
something. Right. But,
I was thinking
but
maybe a
obviously
little
very talented
Elshon
player.
Jeffrey reunion, get that big receiver. The Bears can throw it down the field if he can make it down the field. I mean, that's the question mark. But
Yeah. No, that's the thing. You know, I don't know how much help we need in the receiver room. Like I said, I think we're looking pretty sharp with the amount of talent we have. It's sort of more of a need basis at this point. But yeah, other than that, the free agent list doesn't, you know, no one really pops out. It's sort of a who do we need? What positions are, you know, do we have a massive necessity for help?
a Bear necessity.
But,
there you go.
Bear necessity. Tie it into the title. Hey.
Right.
Yeah, but that's pretty much the only guys I see.
Yeah, mainly the tackles. I mean, that's where they can really look for room for improvement. And there's some other people on that list that, you know, honestly, if you gave them a chance, they might, you know, come back and find some form that they used to have. You know, like it's sad to see Todd Gurley's career go the way that it did, but, you know, I highly doubt, and the Bears don't need him also, but just for the sake of knowing who's out there, you know, players along the likes of him, you know, even a DJ Hayden, maybe you're swinging a little bit for the fences, the old Jacksonville cornerback, and the old Prince Amukamara used to formerly be a Bear, but has not been.
I'd like to see Prince back. You know, he was okay. The thing is, we're so bad. Our secondary is so bad. You know, when we're talking about like, does Richard Sherman still have the same step? Blah blah blah. It doesn't even matter, man. Like, if he comes back at 50% of what he was, he'd still be the second best corner in our room. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I am that low on our cornerbacks. I think that we are that.
I think you're
bad.
a little bit lower on them than I am, but that's fair. I mean, they did not play very well, and
They played terribly.
yeah. And Austin was always a huge fan of Prince Amukamara. It was crazy. He had a insane amount of love for that man. Stuck out every limb for him, and I'd tell him that, man, he's losing his step. I'd be like, he's really not who he used to be. But really, from what I've heard, a great guy, and I really don't know what he's up to these days. But maybe he's doing a little bit of sports commentary, because I've heard him do that a bit in the past.